Thank you, Lian. You are not only a good tenor, but also you give us a good, healthy message. And it is very good as an opening to our distinguished guest, our keynote speaker of today, Chef Lazarou, that he will talk about food, about liquid and solid food, that is wine and what we eat. I believe it is good to have him here, give us a very inspiration for our life if we could have real good food. Just to be aware that after this presentation will be done in Greek, and take, if you are not Greek speaking, the way that you have a direct translation. And secondly, we will have afterwards a wine degustation in order to see what are practically how you could have good wine with good food. The floor is yours. Ευχαριστώ πολύ.
Good morning. Good morning. That's the best thing to start our day. A warm, heartfelt good morning. I would like to thank Enrico for his invitation, for his hospitality, and for all his actions. Similar efforts are worthy. And this is how we will save not only this place, but our planet in general. My action began many years ago, especially for Lionfish. The first recipe I prepared was 3.5 years ago. Unfortunately, there was not a video back then. So these 2 days I'm here on Elafonisos, I think we'll make it more popular because we did shoot the video. Because all my previous efforts were not recorded. Throughout the years I have been operating my restaurant, 38 years, I have done a lot of things in Greece. Many things were not eaten before. But now people eat it. For example, red shrimp. You may have heard about kolochtipa. I created the first recipe 30 years ago. So this entire effort is because I want to create Greek recipes with fish that you can find in the Greek seas. This is why for the past 16 to 17 months I have joined efforts with the Kalamata Forum. They were really hard, and this is why I joined them, in order to help as much as possible. Now, when it comes to Lionfish, it's indeed an invader. It goes through the Suez Canal, following the large ships, because large ships throw food leftovers in the sea. So smaller fish eat the leftovers and lionfish follows the smaller fish. It's not that easy to attack a lionfish because of his spines. The only fish that does that is the moray eel. But the moray eel will attack only if the lionfish is very close to its nest, to its home. So lionfish can be fished normally by accident in the long lines that fishermen use. Spear fishing is used to fish the lionfish, but that's not enough. This fish, however, needs to be processed. The fisherman should remove the spines and remove the fillet. Of course, this increases the cost. And my My proposal is to get funds from the EU in order to subsidize this process, in order for professional fishermen to engage in this type of fishing. Because it takes time from fishermen to treat that fish, to fillet it. And it needs to be done while the fish is fresh. So a large subsidy could help fishermen engage in lionfish fishing. I have engaged in some actions with Mrs. Damanaki when she was the EC commissioner. You may remember the effort that we had engaged in back then. It was a really nice campaign to let baby fish become parents. So when she was no longer the European Commissioner, that effort stopped. Unfortunately for Greece, this effort has stopped, but we want to continue. Usually, Greek people are waiting for some kind of incentive in order to act. So since 1986, when my restaurant was established, my aim was to introduce more, let's say, Greece in my recipes. I have I have cooked for many important people, such as lately the former US President Barack Obama. I want to show what our country is, what we can do. We shouldn't be in the last position. We should lead. So let's go back to the lionfish, and let me tell you that it is a fish that doesn't come originally from Greek waters. This is why it's not as tasty as we are used to. But what our parents and grandparents used to say is that things will change. So when we have a lot of mountains in Greece, when it rains, there are a lot of things that end up in the sea and the fish eat it. And so the taste will change as years go by. Nowadays, the lionfish doesn't taste as our normal fish, but it is necessary to create recipes to make it more attractive. I don't know whether you had the chance yesterday to taste our recipe. You might have realized that indeed the lionfish, if you use certain techniques, it can be eaten and it can be really tasty. Yesterday, Enrico's friends and guests used the focaccia to eat the sauce. And I could see happy faces around me tasting my recipe, and we need to eliminate this threat, the lionfish threat, by eating it. My effort consists in committing to Elafonisos, committing towards Enrico that I will be here next year as well, to cook with other colleagues as well, to help bring more chefs here to create a wider range of recipes. I have never said no to providing my effort to people that have asked me for something that I consider to be substantial and essential. So I would like to thank you, and I do wish that lionfish becomes a regular part of our dishes. And I do hope that more people like Enrico help this place and our planet in general. Thank you very much.
I believe that when ideas come out after your speech, I believe that when you talk about lionfish, it's not only a problem of Greece, it's a problem of Mediterranean. And I believe that one idea is due to the fact that we start with the help of Prince Alberto of Monaco to have the chef in Monaco. They will have the opportunity to cook lionfish. I would like to ask you if you could have a group of Italian chef, Greek chef, Monaco chef, they could together have something that will help the Mediterranean to fight against lionfish in order to have, in the future, keep the way to have barbunia, octopodia, all the other good fish. Otherwise, we must be clear that in 10 years, if you don't do nothing, fagri, all the barbunia, octopodia, they will be very, very difficult to find wild one. So I believe that we need to act before to have the fire in our back. And I believe that with your expertise and also your image, we could help the Mediterranean and the planet in order to maintain the biodiversity that we have now. Do you agree?
Για να τη βιοποικιλότητα που έχει αυτή τη στιγμή. Συμφωνείς? It's more than certain that you are right, absolutely right. Indeed, there is a risk to lose all this biodiversity. So it's a necessity to consume it, to eat it. There are other invaders in Greece as well. Blue crab, for example. In the city of Kavala, blue crabs go out on the shore. They walk on the streets. There are certain areas in Greece that have already started eating blue crab. We can use lionfish and its bones to create broth for soup. So we're just in the beginning and we are doing our research. I do commit that I will be one of the chefs that will do that, and I will urge and encourage other colleagues to be with you in Monaco or wherever else you might invite me in order to raise awareness for that. In order to save our planet, we need to do something about lionfish. That's our enemy. Other people are not our enemies. It's lionfish that are enemies. And I think we will win this fight because we know how to eat. We know the cost of the fish, red mullets, expensive fish. What's the cost if we collect this type of fish? If, is it 3 euros? It is 70 euros? Mr. Lazarus' microphone is not on. Unfortunately, it's the fisherman that should fillet this fish. So this type of treatment happens on the boat or just on the shore. So fishermen don't have the right equipment, the right knives. Usually chefs have that. So this fish, let's say that it weighs 1 kilo when the fishermen catch it. Then the fillet is no more than 200 grams. Because there are many spines, the head is large, there are a lot of leftovers, there are a lot of things that you should throw away. The skin is really harsh and you need to scrap it. So if you start with 3 euros, it will reach 12 euros. It is expensive, but it is a fillet. Let's think about anchovies. The cost is about 4 to 4.5 euros per kilo, depending on the market. In Elafonisos, it might be even 6 euros, 6.5 euros per kilo. And I can give you many information about that, but the cost will be around 12 euros. but it is worthy paying for this fillet because we need to eat it. We need to consume it. Because you want to eat some calamari in the restaurant 2 years from now. So in order to do that, eat the lionfish fillet. Otherwise, you will only have lionfish to eat, to be honest, in a few years from now. It is an open sea fish, clean fish. You can follow it in shallow waters now as well. As I said, this migration of the invaders starts by following the ship. Fish need a leader. In this case, the leader is the propeller of the ship. This is what they follow. Also, when a ship arrives to a destination, in order to leave that destination, it should get some ballast. So when it gets ballast, it also gets some fish, small fish. So when it goes to other territorial waters, the ballast water is disposed of. I told you that the first recipe with lionfish I created was 3.5 years ago, and back then you could find them only in Crete, not in Kythera, not in Elafonisos. So now we can see that there is migration from Crete towards Kythera and Elafonisos because there is this connection. There is a ship line that goes through these islands. So this is how this fish migrates, by following the ship. If there was a line from Elafonisos to the Ionian Islands, you would find it to Ithaca as well. There are some, but not that many. So you can understand that it's not only Greece that is in danger, it's the entire planet. Our entire planet is at risk. This is what you should have in mind. We need to help our planet. And this is why I mentioned the proposal of an EU subsidy. In order for fishermen to start treating this fish on the boat when they catch it. It's the same with farmers. They do get some subsidies when their crops are destroyed, for example. And this helps the growth of the agricultural sector. Why not doing the same with fishermen? I do believe that some kind of financial aid, subsidy should be in place, maybe to subsidize the purchase of the right equipment or provide tax-free fuel for the boats. I don't know what the exact thing will be. But I do believe that there should be some kind of help in order to incentivize fishermen and fish lionfish. Let's find a way to do that. Any other questions? You said something about the price. 3-5 euros for a fisherman is not enough. If you take into account the maintenance of the boats, the fuels, the equipment, so we need something else. We've known each other for many years and I'm very happy. Angelos, our mayor, tell us, Angelos, how many lionfish we can get per day? 20 kilos, 30 kilos. So imagine, if this is more or less 100 euros, half of the cost accounts for the fuel. This is why I talked about a subsidy, an EU subsidy, in order to promote that. You have known what I have been doing for many years. We have been friends for years. You are one of the first people that supported my effort in Piraeus. You remember, okay, I'm a bit younger than Takis, but you remember the angler, the common monkfish. People used to throw it away, and I made it a common fish on the table. French people now are very fond of common monkfish. They consider it to be the lobster of the poor. So let's be optimistic that this will happen with lionfish as well. We will make it mainstream. A friend of mine told me somewhere you took the least popular fish from the bottom of the sea and you turned it into kings of our table. Let's do the same with the lionfish. I think there is another question as well. When we eat the lionfish, we try to control the population. Your endeavor in the past was to introduce some Greek species on our table, so it's a bit different. The effort starts from a different point of beginning. Well, let me give you 2 examples on that. The scorpion fish, 20 years ago, if it stung you, you might even get to the hospital with a weaver fish. Some people that were allergic might even die from an allergic shock. 20 years afterwards, meaning now, if it stings you, you might get some swelling, but nothing more. So these kind of fish change their character. There is another fish as well, which was an invader fish called Germanos, and we made it mainstream in Crete as well, because Germanos also means German, so our motto was eat a German and peel off their skin. So by using humor, we tried to do that. But let me tell you what a company called Mytilos did about blue crab. Right, it's in near Varia city. So they took this invader. They created a small manufacturing site and tried to process it. It has 3 tastes: the body, the foot, and the claws. So now they have processed it, and it's now present in all restaurants, because the blue crab is a really nice crab, and it's now really expensive. So the blue crab, king crab, was really expensive, so the blue crab allowed us to create some dishes using a less expensive option. So I was talking to somebody and I said, when you boil that crab, what are you doing with the water? And they said, we throw it away. So I made them filter that water so it doesn't have small bones and residues, etc. Then use large boilers and condense it to create a nice body of broth. So yesterday I cooked the lionfish using broth from beef bones. This is what you tasted. So the taste was in the sauce, practically. And my friends at Varulco always tell me, I love your sauces. They never say I love the shrimp. So, okay, but we have to take care of our body, as the previous speaker said, okay? Don't forget that. Don't start eating all the bread with my sauce. So I gave you the example of the blue crab to make you understand that if we keep our minds working, and if we think, we can do a lot of things, big things. So it's not only about eliminating the lionfish. It's a really beautiful fish. If you do some snorkeling, it's beautiful. So it's not about eliminating the population completely. It's about making it edible in nice recipes. We don't want to destroy it or make it disappear. We want to control the population. We want it to exist, have some stock, and be included in our population of fish without being a risk, without eating all our calamaria. That's all on my part. Thank you. I understand. You try to integrate it in order not to be threat for the food chain in the sea. Yes, that's our effort. Any other question? I think I got you covered. Thank you very much.